Welcome to Investing Doc, where physicians like you take charge of your careers and build the lives that you deserve. I'm Brad, and each week we'll explore strategies, stories, and solutions to help you master entrepreneurship, grow your wealth, and thrive in business and beyond. Hey everybody, welcome back to my podcast. My name is Brad. I like to help people start or scale medical practices, and I own a multi-million-dollar practice here in Texas. Today, let's talk about you're not in the healthcare business. You're in the people business. Oh man, I love learning from other entrepreneurs. And one of my favorite people to read about is Howard Schultz. For those of you guys who don't know, Howard Schultz is the founder of Starbucks. He said, we're not in the coffee business serving people. We're in the people business serving coffee. And although that sounds kind of cliche, let's think about that for a minute. Anyone can serve a cup of coffee. As long as you get the consistency, the taste okay, anyone can serve that. Arguably, their coffee doesn't even taste that great. But what they do have is they have a wonderful customer experience. I don't know about you guys, but pretty much every time I go to Starbucks, I get a sweet little like happy face on it or something, a thumbs up or whatever. There's so many things that they always sound cheery. They always look at me and smile. They always seem to be enthusiastic. Because let's get real, what separates good coffee from bad coffee? There's a million different things that could do that. But one, Starbucks has great locations, but they're in the people business. And I hate to say it, but you are in the people business. I think the downside with modern healthcare is that, in my opinion, private equity and all these big venture capital groups, these multi-billion-dollar organizations have put money and business first and forgotten the people. Most clinics nowadays act like factories. They're cold, rushed, transactionals, patients treated just like a number or cattle. Dude, staff are so burnt out. Everyone's moving fast. Nobody's caring or connecting. It just doesn't feel good. I mean, every single patient that I send to get a colonoscopy, every single one of them is like, how much could I like it? I was basically like a cattle call. They were just basically like, please shut up, sit over there, and we're going to do this right now. Unfortunately, the bar has been set so freaking low by the business of medicine that the good part about that for you is that the bar's so low that all you need to do is give a slightly better customer experience. And you will win every single day. Because think about it, people remember emotions more than they remember anything else. Oh, you want a good example of this? Think about how many freaking people go to Disneyland or Disney World. People thrive off of emotions. And I don't know about you, but like even myself, when I go sit down, I want to know, can I trust this doctor? Does the doctor seem to have empathy? Are they communicating well? Do they reassure my concerns? Is there any connection? I don't need to be like BFF with this doc, but do they seem like they give a crap? Man, I'll tell you, one time I went to this doctor's office and it was horrible. I came in with these palpitations and yeah, I was a med student, but at that point in time, they could have just told me in a compassionate way, you know what, Brad, you're stressed out. You're a med student. I think these palpitations are just PVCs. Don't worry about it. But man, this person just kind of drug their feet in, kind of sighing really hard. I swear I saw them like roll their eyes when I started telling them about how I think I'm going to die with these palpitations. And then they even like made a callous joke about like, oh, hey, Brad, you got med student syndrome. You need to just get out there and stop worrying about it. Okay, that's not what I want to hear. Okay, if I wanted to hear just like stop worrying about it, I'd go talk to my freaking dad. I came for someone who I could maybe have trust in to get an answer on, should I worry about this or not? All right. There's nothing more sacred than your health. And I'm there in a moment of scaredness to say, dude, what are these palpitations? I'm a first year med student. I don't know crap. Every patient who leaves your office is going to ask themselves, did they listen to me? Did they care? Was the staff friendly? Did they feel heard? Did you treat them like a human, like you'd want to be treated? And this is like the number one thing that I just really stress to my staff. I'm like, the patient experience comes pretty much first. I say pretty much because their safety comes first. That always comes first. If a patient's threatening them, we give every single one of them like pepper spray and everything. Like, no, your safety is first. Okay, beyond that though, every single employee in my organization has a lot of authority and autonomy. Let me give you guys an example. There was once this guy, we have a 3 no-call, no-show policy, you're out, and we charge him a no-show fee. Well, there was this one guy that no call, no showed to me. This was the 3rd time. And, my front staff was like kind of giving him a hard time. And he just kind of like leaned over and was like, hey, I'm sorry. I'm going through a bad divorce right now. They're taking my kid. She's making all these wild accusations. My life is horrible. So, you know what? This guy was basically on the verge of tears. And she was like, he kind of went on a rant about how he's paying all of his legal bills, can't afford to like pay for this visit. And I love that my staff was like, yo, I hear you. we're going to give this one's on the house. We're going to give you this one today. Do we do that all the time? Hell no. But I've built a practice that can absorb that kind of loss, because if I were on the other end of that, if I were at my lowest point in my life, dude, just any bone that is thrown my way, I'm going to be loyal for the rest of my life to you. Because you know what? I've been there before. When I was that first year med student, scared out of my mind with the palpitations, what I didn't tell him is that, oh, by the way, I just got out of a bad relationship. I moved all of my stuff into my parents' house. And then just like Job from the freaking Bible, lightning struck the damn house, burnt everything to the ground. I had no renter's insurance, and I was left with absolutely nothing. And there I was at the lowest moment of my life, going to this person, just looking for reassurance. Am I going to be okay? And then for them to treat me like I was inconveniencing them and that I was just stupid and I had quote unquote med student syndrome, just needed to like forget about it. That's not what I needed right then and there. Treat people like a human. Build a business that you can absorb these. Dude, you hit rock bottom. Okay, if you feel comfortable, tell us about it. We'll help you. Brother, I've been there. You know, maybe not to the point where I'm getting divorced, thank God, but you know, I've had my own version of rock bottom, which I talked to you guys about. And you know what? That guy has been with me now for a few years. And even when he finally got back on his feet, like 2 years later, he said, no, I want to pay for that visit. I am so grateful for what y'all did for me. That guy has sent us so many patients. He has left us so many positive reviews. And you know what? He has sent us so many of his friends and family. Think about the long-term value of how we just treat him like we'd want to be treated. Get rid of that business mindset of like just the cattle call of everything. You can still make a lot of money, but you can treat people with dignity and respect. So what are we in? I tell my staff, like Howard Schultz, we're in the freaking people business, baby. We want to treat people like we would want to be treated, because sadly, a lot of times we see people walking in the door, it may be the worst day of their life. Maybe they just got told they have breast cancer, colon cancer, terminal brain cancer. Who the hell knows? Maybe they just went through a divorce. I'm not saying we give them all a free visit, but when this guy came up to us and was borderline about to cry, paying his copay because he was wiped out paying for his divorce, dude, I love it that my front staff was like, bro, we got you. This one's on the house. You damn right I encourage that kind of behavior. You know, and I think that I give out to the world what I would want to come back to me. I think the sad part is I have Aetna health insurance. And for those of you guys that are following, y'all may or may not have remembered from one of my previous posts that we lost our third kid this year. You know, we had a stillborn. And there was a part of me that was really pissed off when we have a $6,000 total out-of-pocket max. There was a part of me that was pissed off when I got $6,000 worth of out-of-pocket stuff from the hospital, being like, you know, I would have wrote this shit off in my business. I would have never charged the patient this. But you know what? That's not my business. I even called trying to plead for some sort of thing. They wouldn't do it. But you know what? That's how low the bar is that Aetna wouldn't help me. You know, the big HCA hospital, they wouldn't help me. But I am changing healthcare in the way that I want to change it. And I truly believe that the way that I am growing my practice, maybe I'll make 5% less money, but I can sleep better at night knowing that I'm in the people business. We're treating people like I'd want to be treated. And I truly believe that long term, the way that we treat our freaking patients will pay off in massive, massive dividends. That's why we're on track this year to do probably, I think like 35,000 encounters this year. Think about that. 35 freaking thousand encounters in 1 year. The other thing is I try to treat my employees like I'd want to be treated. If you treat your employees right, that's what Howard Schultz always said. If you treat them right, usually they will be a happy, healthy, and great employee. That's why he was an advocate for paying for health insurance. That's why he's an advocate for paying for people to go back to college and do something else. That's why my office manager, we paid all the legal fees for her mother to immigrate from Mexico over here. Some things in business, when you're growing, are not scalable, but you'll have people for life. And honestly, it's just the right freaking thing to do. And at the end of the day, could I make 5% more money being a butthole? Absolutely. I could do that, but I think that I'm going to make way more than 5% doing the way that I'm doing it now. People refer people. People are going to remember the way that you treat them, the way your staff treats them. And I tell you what, now I'm so relentless with this, is that if we ever hire someone that doesn't have this philosophy, I think I'd fire them on the spot. I think that if they couldn't be, depending on how egregious it was, if they couldn't turn to our way of thinking, you just don't have a place with my business. People will forgive your mistakes if they trust you. What do I mean by mistakes? I'm not talking about a medical mistake, but I'm talking about Maybe your phones are so backlogged, they got to leave 15 voicemails before you return the call to refill their cholesterol medicine. It sucks, but they'll forgive that mistake temporarily, not forever, but temporarily. People return when they feel valued. Loyalty is emotional, it's not transactional. People are going to choose connection over convenience. I have people that drive all the way from freaking 3 hours away. No, that's not. I have actually patients that are expats that live in Portugal, the Philippines, and Mexico. They fly back twice a year to come see me. This all exponentially grows on itself. Howard Schultz built an empire on the simple truth that consistency of connection beats consistency of the product every time. I don't believe healthcare is any different. I think it's the exact same thing. We are in the people business of treating people like we'd want to be treated. And again, not to say primary care is easy, but anyone can prescribe a Z-Pak for a bronchitis. But how do you treat them and make them feel heard? That is what takes you from good to great. And unfortunately, the bar's been set so low that it's fortunate for you. It's unfortunate for the consumer, for the average person getting healthcare. It sucks. But the bar's so low that all you need to do to a major extent is focus on the people aspect of things. And there is a very, very good chance that your business is going to thrive. Look, there are lots of things your competitors can copy. They can copy your clinic layout, business model, payer mix, marketing, prices, hours. They can't copy your culture, the warmth, the follow through, the personal touch, the leadership that you bring in, that personal connection. That can't be copied. I mean, look at the freaking Buc-ee's convenience store. I don't know if any of you guys live near this thing, but it's weird that it started kind of down the road from where I live. But they have a cult-like following. And to some degree, they're in the people business. I mean, yes, they sell gas and they have clean restrooms, but they're quirky. They put their people first. They put their employees first. And it's a bulletproof business plan. All you got to do is focus on that. And unfortunately, a lot of these other people that are focusing on the business of medicine, they're going to let you succeed every single time because they're not in the people business. They're in the profit business. So let me leave you with this. Howard Schultz built one of the most recognizable brands in the world, not because he perfected coffee. It's because he perfected connection. Arguably, I think it tastes like crap. But I know some of you guys are hardcore Starbucks fans, fine. But think about it. He perfected the connection. He understood that when you take care of people, the business takes care of itself. And the same's true in medicine. Your patients won't remember the specific details of the visit. They won't remember the codes, the notes, maybe being overcharged $25. They might complain a little bit. They're going to remember, though, how you treated them, whether you cared, whether they felt like a person or if they just were a problem and a burden to you. Just don't grow your clinic. You have to build something that you're proud to belong to, every single member who works there. You're not in the healthcare business. You're in the people business. And when you master that, you're going to win. Every single freaking time, you're going to win. Thank you guys for listening. If this episode inspired you in any way, share it with another physician. All my contact info is down below. I'll see you guys on the next one.